some halfway Cowboy talk with you guys and kind of got some ideas and stuff like that, or what's your opinions on some of these things? I'm always interested in that. It's kind of like a little bit of the sports mix, but with with the bye week and stuff like that, I have a lot of these questions I always come up in my mind when I'm driving around or something. And so here we go. Wolchuk.
Yeah.
Player that has been the biggest surprise to you through the halfway point. Cowboy player, that is.
Biggest surprise, the halfway point.
Surprise.
Surprise.
Some fries.
Surprise.
Some pies.
Probably Cooper Rush. I was very surprised. Look, I know Cooper Rush won a game last year, but when Dak went down, if you were to say, hey, he's going to miss 5 games and this team will be 6-2, I would not have believed it. It was shocking to me that Cooper Rush was able to go 4-1 as a starter. I did not think he would be able to play that well, and I didn't think the team was going to be able to rally around him in that manner, especially after what we witnessed game 1. So I would say Cooper Rush was my biggest surprise from the first half of the season.
Chief?
I'm going to combo platter mine because I'm going to go with these rookies. The tight ends, Tyler Smith and Deron Bland, all being able to step in precarious situations. Hey, right before the game, Jordan Lewis goes down. You need to go play nickel corner, one of the toughest positions in the sport to play. Your name's Deron Bland, and no one's really ever heard of you, and no one in the draft really wanted you. And you go out there and you don't miss a beat. That's a huge surprise. The Ferguson situation, I didn't see it. In the OTAs, even at training camp, we're asking the question, should they have drafted Ferguson or the kicker out of your school, LSU? Yeah. And I'm like, well, gosh dang it, maybe we should have just drafted that kicker. Take that back because Ferguson's been great and him and Hendershot together have been really good. And then Tyler Smith being able to, right before the season, you're going from guard to tackle. All that, to me, the youngsters have been a big-time surprise.
Love Deron Bland. Watching last night, going back and watching the All-22 Tuesdays, the Cowboys got something with Deron Bland, man.
Yeah.
This kid's just going to keep getting better and better.
General?
Man, there's a lot of good picks. I like what the guys are saying. I'm down to 2. It's either Tony Pollard. I didn't think he was this awesome.
Yeah.
But he is. And then the other boy, Brett Maher, he's been automatic.
Yeah.
Ooh,
a kicker.
Maher's a good one.
That's a good one. And I would like to throw in with the rookies, I don't want to disrespect Sam Williams.
Well, I'm coming to you on this next question. Then.
Oh, okay.
We're going to name the whole roster before he gets the question.
Yeah,
really, the entire team is a surprise.
Rookies,
I thought they
man, these rookies been good.
I do. I didn't get, by the way, the biggest surprise was the whole thing with Cooper Rush. Will Greer, come on. I mean, those are the guys that.
You guys read a book for once. Come on.
Yeah. No, I'm serious. I mean, there's no way in hell I thought they were going to win 4 games with Cooper Rush.
I'm good at these games.
Yeah.
So,
that all took us by surprise.
All right, Chief, best rookie. That's my question.
Yeah,
best rookie.
I like that. Very good.
That was number 2 on my list until you named half the rookie class.
I'm sorry.
But I'm going to make you name one.
Yeah. I know it's been a small sample size, but I'm going to go with Deron Bland. It's been 2 games basically that he's really had to step in and start and play. And I think at worst case, it's even with Jordan Lewis and it might even be better. And so salute to you, Deron Bland.
How about you there, Zach?
I forgot my name.
No, I was thinking if I was going to go back to Gavin.
He looked
like he was doing a little work there, so I just didn't want to catch him.
I thought you were going to go back to Gavin for a second.
No, he was Josh Green jumping in the air, holding the ball, not knowing where to go with it.
For me, it's Hoochie Daddy Shorts.
Yeah.
Because we were kind of making fun of him a little bit. We were like, oh, Hoochie Daddy Shorts. Like, Dante Fowler didn't know who the hell he was preseason. Like, I liked the Jake Ferguson pick. We were doing Trust the Tape. You knew that, Broadus.
Right.
Like, he was one of my more favorite tight ends that I thought the Cowboys had a shot to get in the mid-rounds. Deron Bland, they seemed to like a lot. In training camp, we were talking him up quite a bit. Might be the number 3 corner if Lewis couldn't play. So we had somewhat expectations. Hendershot's come in. Heck, down the road, he might end up being the best of the bunch if you give this guy some time. He's got a lot of versatility to his game. So for me, it's probably Peyton Hendershot.
I'm going to go with Tyler Smith.
Yeah.
Left tackle is damn near impossible at this age for a player in the NFL, but he's pulling it off. I think he's a bonus in the run game, and he's holding his own enough in the passing game.
Yeah, I think, to me, I knew the kid could play, but the fact he got no reps in training camp and then they throw him in there week 1, I think you have to. I think he's been the best.
But Bland's been more solid overall, less mistakes.
Yeah, Bland is one of those guys that you're kind of like, I wish he would have played more.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but Jordan Lewis, I think the thing with Bland is you could play him inside or outside. I don't know if you could play Lewis outside.
Okay.
You know, so I Tyler Smith. All right, Gavin, to you on this one. Should Mike McCarthy be considered for Coach of the Year?
He absolutely should. You know, I don't know if he'd win it at the halfway point. There's probably better options out there. But yeah, and you know, I got to give him his props. You've transitioned this team from being offense dominant to defense dominant. You're about to put the Cowboys in the playoffs for back-to-back years for the first time since 2007. They become a takeaway team. You've made them tougher, you know. So I think it's roster construction, but it's also how they evolved the offense or devolved the offense, depending on how you look at it, to optimize their chances to win. I think he's doing a hell of a job.
How about you, Chief?
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to be made for sure. There's no question he deserves a ton of credit. Winning football games with your backup quarterback, that in itself is very, very impressive. And then when you get into the nitty-gritty, as Dawson was, of the things that you could tangibly see that changed, and you feel like McCarthy had a lot to do with that, there's a case to be made. Unfortunately, it's just a great year in terms of candidates for this because you have these young coaches that have stepped up. Brian Dable, rookie head coach, team playing well. Mike McDaniel, Kevin O'Connell with the Vikings. And then there's Pete Carroll with the Seahawks right now. Holy smokes, no one would have saw that coming. And that doesn't even mention what Sirianni's doing in Philadelphia right now. So there's just a lot of good candidates, but Mike McCarthy deserves to be in the conversation for sure.
Right. Like, he's not going to win this award, but this is probably the best coach job to this point by any Cowboys coach since fill in the blank, right? Bill Parcells in 06 or 03. His first season.
That was amazing.
When he took
did,
Quincy Carter and the Cowboys 10-6 and they made the playoffs. I mean, that's how, this is a fantastic coaching job this year by Mike McCarthy.
I'll tell you what, I think you absolutely do. I don't know another. You named all these programs, all these teams. Has anybody had to survive it without their starting quarterback? Maybe the guy at Miami has. You know, he's had trouble with his quarterback.
But even they were losing those games.
Yeah,
like it wasn't like they were
that's
winning
what I'm saying.
those games.
I mean, that's amazing that they were able to do this. I think everything that Gavin was talking about, too, I think him going in and telling Kellen Moore, hey, listen, this is what we are as a team. This is what we are. We've got a great defense. We need to kind of cater to that. You don't need to screw things up. Think about running the ball a little bit more here.
Sure.
But yeah, I have to give them I have to give him complete credit for that. Okay, how about this one to you, Zach, again? Will the Cowboys go 4-0 against the NFC North? They got Green Bay and Minnesota coming up next.
Oh, man. I do think they beat Minnesota. That's going to be a tough game, but I do think they beat them. That for whatever reason, it seems like outside of that one Sunday night game a couple years ago, they've matched up pretty well recently against the Vikings. There's something scary always about Aaron Rodgers. He seems like he always plays his best against the Cowboys, but I'm going to say yes. I think that's going to be an inspired Cowboys team that plays for Coach McCarthy, and I think Dak puts it together on coming off the bye against the Packers. I think the Cowboys do go 4-0 against the North.
Chief?
Yeah, having 2 weeks to prepare for Green Bay going into Lambeau will be big, and I think there will be a team kind of galvanizing around Coach McCarthy. And you know, they all know how much, or we know how much they love them because we've heard J-Ron Curse right here on this station talk about it. And him going back into Lambeau for the first time, I think that's going to be huge. 2 weeks to prepare, and I just think the Cowboys are better than both of these teams. So I mean, anything can happen, of course. Especially with the Vikings being as respectable as they are, but I do think the Cowboys are the better football team. So I'll say yes.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, I think the Vikings are a pretty good playoff team, but I don't pick them to get out of the wild card round. And I think Green Bay's just broken. But the Vikings are getting lit up in the air. So I think this is going to be another game where the offense has a lot of success and maybe you're even into the 30s against Minnesota.
I'm kind of looking at this a couple different ways. The Packers have the Lions, I believe, this week. And so what worries me is they haven't played well at all the last 4 weeks. They really haven't. And so what I worry about them is they get this win, and then all of a sudden now it's that moment where they get the win against the Lions, and then they get the win against you, and they're 5-5.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're now kind of back into this thing. And it goes back. I always talk about the desperate team theory, and sometimes it seems to work. Other times it really, really doesn't. But, man, if Aaron Rodgers and these guys want to get back in this thing, they're going to have to beat the Cowboys. That scares me. I do think the Cowboys are better than the Vikings, even though the Vikings offensively, Gavin's right about the defense. I think that's where you have to kind of take advantage of them. So I think it's a little bit of I think if you split these games, you would you'd probably be pretty happy about that.